There is not one thing that has caused more children distress and more parents a lot of frustrations than homework. That's why today we're addressing it. It's like 2 months into the start of school, and I can only begin to imagine for parents who have kids who are just starting school how difficult it has been to actually have a routine around homework that doesn't get the child to maybe refuse to do it, and then you, the parents, is forcing for them to do it. I totally understand. So today let's talk about strategies to help you get your kids to do their homework without it leaving you in frustration or you shouting at them or leaving them in tears. Today I'm going to be giving you 4 strategies, and I believe that if you watch this video till the end, you are going to make a lot of changes in your home. So stick with me. Now, I'm going to be getting these tips from a book which is so dear to my heart. I've listened and read this book more than 10 times, but every single day, I feel like if I had a chance to just take out some time from my day to listen to this book early in the morning, all of it before I start my day, it will make my journey with my kids so much more better. So I'm going to be getting these tips from this book. And what is the first one? The first tip for you to get your children to do homework without stress, without frustration, is to show your child that you are on their side. A lot of times we don't do that. A child comes out from school. If you realize presently, children stay more in school than us when we were in school. I think that when I was in primary school, I used to come back home at 1 o'clock or 1:30. I cannot really remember very clearly, but I knew that it is when I got to secondary school that I used to close school at 2:30. But kids of today, primary school kids of today, close from school at 3 p.m. and they come back with lots of homework, and they're expected to finish all that homework and submit it the next day in school. That alone could be very, very stressing to deal with. So be on your child's side. What do I mean by being on your child's side? Acknowledge with your child that homeworks can be stressing, because sometimes imagine yourself going through something and then there's just someone there to understand you and actually see what you're going through. It makes it so much easier for you to go through that thing even though you know it's hard. So you could say things like, oh my god, this homework seems really long and complicated. I know you wish you could just relax and rest after school. Stop there. Please don't use the words. Because most times we would say all these things that make the child to know that we understand them, and then you say, but you have to do your homework now. No. Instead of using a but, you could go like, the problem is, in school when you don't do your homework, you could really get into trouble. So let me suggest 2 ways that you can do your homework, and then you choose one of them. Now, giving your child options makes them take responsibility, and with the fact that you have already understood where they are coming from and the fact that homework could be really, really challenging, it makes them more receptive to think about the solutions that you've given. And even if the child decides to go with their own solutions, like sometimes my son would like to say, he'll say, Mommy, I want to do my homework with some calm music playing in the background. That's still good. As far as he does his homework, perfect. So be on your child's side. Let them see that it is them and you against the homework, and not them against you, the homework, and the school. They feel alone, and it would make them to rebel and not even want to do that homework. What's the second thing you can do? Acknowledge your child's feelings. Acknowledge your child's feelings. Like I said earlier, make sure that your child is make sure your child understands that you are on their side, and then acknowledge their feelings. I already gave an example which included that. Acknowledge your child's feelings. Understand that even in our time, we didn't come back from school that late, and now they are coming back from school so late, and instead of them resting and just sleeping for the next day, they still have homework to do, right? So acknowledge their feelings and then propose choices. Another thing that you can do is to problem solve with your child. If homework is really something that makes your child to cry and just really gets you to the point where you're shouting, the child is crying, the whole place is really tensed, sit with that child and talk to the child. You can say something like this: I realize doing homework is really, really making your life a living hell. Or you could say something like, I see you're really struggling to get your homework done. That is a huge problem because even in my days, we didn't come back home with this much homework. We even closed early that people could nap before they do their homework. But these days, you guys come back so late and then you still have homework to do. What solutions can you think of for it to make it easy for you to do your homework? And you can give the first suggestion, something that my son will say, like listen to calm music while you're doing your homework, and the child can suggest some other options that work for them. No matter how crazy your child's option sounds, please do not tell them that no, we cannot do that while they're giving their options, because that will take away the possibility of them even giving a brilliant idea. So anything that they give, just be like, okay. So you write down all the ideas before you go back to it when you guys are done. You ask your child says he's done. You can give a certain number and say maybe 5 ideas or 7 ideas so that you guys are not there the whole day just coming up with ideas. When you're done, you can now go. Idea number 1. You said you want to be watching TV while doing homework. For example, you tell your child, I think watching TV is really distracting. So it will make you to stay more on your homework and might make you to make mistakes. So I think that we should cancel out this one. If maybe you give something like run around the house 2 times before you do your homework, and the child finds it too hard to do, your child says something like, no, I cannot run around the house 2 times before doing my homework because it's going to make me tired, right? So you guys go through all their suggestions like that, and then you can come up with something that works for homework time that you and your child actually sat down to create, thus making him to feel responsible because he knew that he took part in that decision, and it will help him to stick to his homework. Something else that I want to add is, please make the environment calm and not very stimulating during homework time, because it cannot be homework time and one child is doing their homework and your toddler who is not yet going to school is sitting in front of the TV watching Applemelon. Even if I'm the one I want to see what's going on the TV, because for some reason in most of our houses you will hear the volume from the sitting room, in your room, or in your study room. So we want to try to make the environment really calm and less stimulating so that the child can sit and focus on their homework. This particular tip is one which comes from me myself, because I have raised kids who at the moment can do their homeworks by themselves. Sometimes I just have to check in to see if they are struggling with certain topics that they are teaching them in school, so I can figure out fun ways to help them deal with it. So I don't go anymore to go and start ringing the bell, or go and do your homework and all that. They know they have to do their homework after school. Sometimes I just check in with them. But I've realized that on days which, I'm playing maybe my praise songs or my worship songs and they have to do homework, it's a bit distracting for them. Calm music, really soft piano, calm music that you can find on YouTube, are really great to keep the environment calm and let the kids to do their homework. It's very important, if you're using calm music or any kind of soft music for your kids while doing homework, for you to tell them that they cannot be watching the video from the screen while they are doing their homework. If you find that to be too stimulating for your kids still, then cut it out totally. This is not one of the tips in the book, but this is something that has worked for me. So let's go to the next tip in the book. Be your child's advocate. Okay? It's part of you being on your child's side. Be your child's advocate and reach out to the teacher if the homeworks are getting too overwhelming or too demanding for the child. I've seen cases in my children's school group where there'll be so much homework and some parents are not comfortable with that much homework. And they'll say something like this, all that homework is for the child to do in writing in the group. And you see other parents just come and maybe smile, leave a smile reaction, leave a thumbs up reaction on it. A comment like that doesn't really help solve the problem, right? It's good that if you want to reach out to a teacher to tell the teacher that the homeworks are getting too much, you start with even the problem solving way, right? You acknowledge the teacher's where the teacher is. You can say something like this: hi madam, I see the government is putting a lot of pressure on you to get your children to finish their curriculum for the year. You have acknowledged what the teacher is going through. So they are more capable of listening to you and hearing what you want to say. But you don't end there. You go now with what you feel. But I feel the amount of homework that my child is coming back home with is a lot too much. Sometimes he cries a lot before doing his homework and is making his learning experience a bit funny and not one which is very encouraging, because I love him to love learning. You have stated your own expectation. You're like, so what do you think we can do to ensure that they keep getting their homework, but not so much to weigh them down or make them not to love their learning process because the work becomes too tedious? Here are a few suggestions that I have. Maybe 2 homework books each day. Per week we would have done 7 homework, instead of, for example, you gave maths on Monday, 3 homework for maths. So we can break it down like that, and then during the weekend, the extra one from each subject that you didn't give within the week could be taken to the weekend, and we'll find a way, since it's 2 whole days that they're not in school, to do it. And you end there. Any teacher who reads that kind of message will see you as an intentional parent who is ready to support their work and support your child. So you're not just fixing the problem from the home ground, you are fixing it also from the school ground, making learning an enjoyable process for your child and also making the teacher's work a bit easy, right? So to make homework something that is not stressing, I would summarize everything that I've said. The first one, be on your child's side. The second one, acknowledge your child's feelings. The third one, which I dropped in, is to make the environment conducive enough and calming enough to get your child to be able to do their homework. The next one that I talked about is problem solving, which I explained how you're going to do it. And for a recap, I'm going to say it again. The first thing you have to do, acknowledge the child's frustrations or the child's feelings. State your feelings and what the school expects from the child, and then give room for your child and yourself to suggest things that can be done to help your child do his homework without a lot of force and stress, and make the homework time enjoyable. The last thing you want to do is to be your child's advocate and get to your child's teacher when the homeworks are getting too much. Now, for a bonus point, I know we parents worry a lot. So what can you do? Stop worrying about all what the other kids are doing, because I am sure and I assure you, a lot more parents are struggling with homework than you think. Sometimes we think that we are the only ones struggling, but even me, who has gotten my children to do their homework, some days I have to follow them and remind them for them to do their homework. So do not worry about, oh, it's only your child is not doing his homework, you're the one who is so much of a bad parent. Don't label yourself. Do the best that you can do. Give yourself some grace. Be more understanding of yourself. Give your child some grace, because you deserve that grace. And if you are graceful enough to yourself and you can sit with your child and actually face this problem like it's a problem which is posed to you and your child, and you and your child are against the problem instead of your child alone being against such a big problem as doing homework every single day, then maybe your child would comply and do their homeworks better and show you in school as a good parent that you want to be. So with homeworks, it's very possible for us to get our kids to do their homework without stress, without force, but it is the way we get them to do that homework. Set the tone for how that homework would be by preparing ahead of the homework and preparing your child's mind ahead of the homework, acknowledging their feelings and doing all these other things that I said. If you love this video, please do well to leave a like, leave a comment of something which you're struggling with your child when it comes to education that you want us to address, and we'll be sure to address that for you and give you tips that you can address, you can use to address this situation with your kids. Also share this with another parent that you know, because I can assure you they are also struggling with homework. And to take this further, I wouldn't want to leave you with these tricks and maybe you go and try them and some don't work. I am suggesting that you join our book club for the month of November. We read this book for the month of October, but I have a lot more mothers demanding and asking me struggles that they're having with their kids. If there is one book I recommend that every parent reads, it is this one. Start with this, and every other thing will follow. If you start with this and you implement the tools that are here, you'll realize that there are less fights in your home. So we are inviting you to join our reading club, so that for the month of November we can read this book. If you've read it already, we have another book that we're reading with another set of parents who have already read this book in the month of October, so they can join us and continue building themselves, so the struggles at home will be less, and we can encourage our kids and have our kids perform as good as we want them to be in the educational scene and in life in general. Join our reading club. The link to join the group or to send me a message will be in the description box, so do well to click on it. You see under the topic there is something that starts right in there. That's the description box. If you click on it and you scroll down, you'll see the link if you want to join, and join us, because I'm going to be making the reading so much easy. Sometimes reading a book can be like doing a workout routine every single day, but with the Applemelon reading club, you can do it. You can do it and get through a book in a month and start to practice the things which are in that book to help your kids reach their full potential, and to help you raise kids that are respectful to you, and build a relationship with your kids that even when they are grown and have their full autonomy and they don't even need to take your advice, they will be able to talk to you when they need help, and they will be able to lean on your counsel that you've given them when they are young, which would help them to not make a lot of mistakes. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching till the end. Comment homework in the comment section, so I'll leave a like on your comment, and remember to subscribe so that you're the first to know when we upload another video. In our next video, I'll be talking about helping children with writing, because if your child just started school, you would know that they are struggling with writing a lot. In that video, I'll talk about why kids struggle with writing and things you can do to help them with writing as well. So subscribe so you do not miss that video, and until next time, let's keep raising healthy, smart kids. Bye!